Hi. This month I thought I might show you where I do all my computer work. You see me behind my machine. This is my computer. I've got two screens because I run a lot of programs at the same time with everything that I'm doing, working on videos and ebooks and on my website. And this particular video I've got on here now is the one that I'm preparing for this month, your free video. And it's actually on men's trousers. You know when they put their hand in here all the time and they end up tearing the section at the bottom of the pocket, and then what happens is that when you look on the other side it's kind of enclosed and you can't really see how to get into that hole. So this video, and it's only a short one, is on how to go about preparing it, fixing it, and in this case I gave it a slight darn because the fabric had torn, and then put it all back together. So I hope it's of help to you, and if you want anything else or you're looking for anything else, you can go to jeanniecentre.com and you'll see hints and tips, and then have a look along the menu. There might be something else there that you need to help you with your clothing alterations. So happy altering! So these are the trousers that I'm repairing. You can see that the seam is open, but you can also see that it looks like some things are attached on the inside. And of course when we turn it over, you'll also notice that it's very hard to get at the seams. There's a reason for this, because generally the seams are pressed open and the pocket, a section of the pocket, is attached to the seam on the outside. So if you tried to repair that without undoing it, you'll end up with it all bunching and puckering on the other side. So the first thing you want to do is just to release probably half the distance up the pocket, so that you've got a good easy access to the seam allowance when it's all opened out. The next step, generally there'll be zigzagging of some kind, holding the pocket flat, so you need to undo that zigzag, and then that should allow the two seams to be accessible. So you can see there I'm just getting rid of what I call all the fluffy bits, so get rid of all of the excess threads, and you'll notice that there's a tear in the fabric. And this happens a lot, you know, when you put a lot of strain on a pocket. Say they carry keys in their pocket which are heavy, or wallets, and what could happen is that, you know, the fabric could tear. So we're going to remove all the stitching. See there, it's also a chain stitch, and being a chain stitch, of course, the minute it gets one little crack in that chain stitch, it'll split open. So what I'm going to do is I want to repair it. So the best thing to do is to find a thread that's as close as possible to the colour of the trousers. If it was jeans or denim, then you know you'd try and find a blue. In this case I'm going to put a grey that's as close as I can possibly get. I don't need to put anything underneath it because I can just darn it to itself. I'm doing a sample for you. I'm just showing you there too. Stitch length should be, when you're darning, about 1.5, and I'm moving with the grain of the fabric. I come forward on the grain, then when I reverse, I'm moving across one grain, and then forward, moving across another grain, and reverse, and so on. Forward, reverse, so that no stitches are actually going on top of each other. Now I'm actually going to do it on the pocket, and because there's a section underneath, I don't need to bond it or do anything like that. I'm just going to darn it to the rest of the garment. I'm using that buttonhole foot because it gives me a lot of visibility,
and I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go forward, and then I'm going to, when I reverse, I'm going to move ever so slightly across. My 2 fingers there are actually maneuvering the fabric. So I'm moving, and every time I come forward and reverse, no stitch seam is on top of the other. It's beside, 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 and moving across. And then in the end, you end up with it looking like it's almost the same as the fabric, or as close to as you can possibly get, particularly if you can match the thread. So you can see how I see the grain, and I've come down, back, down, back, down, back. That's what you want to do when you're darning fabric. So now all we have to do is pin the seams together, and then we'll stitch it. And the only thing I can say here is to save yourself any unpicking is to make sure that both seams are lined up. And to do that, you can see how now I'm just moving that pin across slightly, because whilst I'd pinned it correctly on one side, it wasn't correct on the other side. And now it is. And just pull any threads out of the way where the seam has stopped. And when you're lining it up, lower the needle into the original seam so that it's not either side of it, because if it's either side of it, then it's going to be noticeable on the right side. And so finally we just reattach the pocket. And the only thing that's important here is to make sure that where I just folded it then is to make sure that it's not pulled across too much, otherwise it will not fit properly. And rather than go from the bottom to the top, just go from the top down where you unpicked to. I do find because you are going to be sewing on the very edge, sometimes it helps to move the needle across to the left hand side, particularly when you're coming up towards the pocket. So it's just a matter of stitching all the way down to where you did the repair. So you can see there that the pocket is stitched down to the seam, and of course you can't access the seams. So now you know why it is like it is and how easy it is to get access to that seam. There are only 2 things left to do now. The first is that the seam running down the pocket, because of the tear and because of what happened, a little section of that had come away. So I'm just closing that back down again. So that's right at the very, very bottom of the pocket. And again, it's really important to have that right thread colour, because otherwise that would be quite noticeable. So the last thing to do is the zigzag that was at the bottom of the pocket. You might want to put a different colour on your bobbin depending on the colour of the pocket. In this case, you could use black for these garments. I didn't worry about it, I just left it as the grey. And change the zigzag to around 2. That should give you about the same as what's on the other pocket. And the stitch length, probably about 0.5. Will give you about the right type of zigzag, and then just stitch that and try and copy the same as on the opposite pocket. So that's it. The repair is complete, and even doing the video, that took all of 10 minutes. So it looks like it's a difficult job, but it's really not, particularly when you follow those steps, work backwards and then come forward. So that's what it looked like when it was torn, and then this is what it looks like now when it's repaired. So I hope you find the video of value. You'll find there's lots more videos, free videos on hints and tips on my website, geniecentre.com, or there are ebooks and videos that you can purchase. Happy altering!